Hey, August the 7th, 2022. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Bob with me, Ken Walls, and Steve Rizzo. And of course, Bob and you. So thank you for being here. And if you don't care to, please share this out and stay with us. I'll be right back with the one, the only Mr. Steve Rizzo. There we are. We're live.
We're live. We're happening. We're now. We are it.
What's happening, Steve Rizzo?
It's been a wonderful weekend so far. Spent time with my two brothers today. My brother Michael and my brother Rocky Rizzo. Go figure.
Rocky.
Yeah. He would have been a perfect character in The Sopranos.
Wow.
Seriously. I'm serious.
Look,
all these people. Wow, already.
Lori already shared it. She's happy to be here again. Lori Zapata, your name is not hidden tonight. So congratulations.
Good to have you here, Lori.
That's awesome. We have Elisa watching from Germany.
Excellent.
And we have Bruce Mills. Holy crap. Bruce Mills. The Bob Stars. Facebook user. I'm sorry, Facebook user.
It's got to be Jerry.
Who?
Jerry Eisenhower.
Hey, I don't think Jerry would throw up that symbol. I don't think.
Well, he was a Facebook user last week. That's why I said.
He's a Facebook user often. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cynthia Mannion is here.
Hello,
we
Cynthia.
love Cynthia.
Hello, Cynthia. Cynthia, come here.
Oh, it's Eric. Can you say his last name? Say it. What do you think? Come on.
Yes. Flournoy.
Huh?
Flournoy or Flournoy.
You're very close. It's Flanoy.
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 I'm like, take the R out, dude.
Yeah.
And the O and the U and just put an A in there. Flanoy. That's how it's pronounced.
Because that's very flanoying.
So, hey, all right. Listen. And congratulations, Lori has never been in Facebook jail. That's good. So I wanted to talk tonight about when everything is going wrong. We all know those people. You've been one of them. I've been one of them. When not only are you speaking about it, you're posting about it, you're thinking about it, like, oh my God, everything keeps going wrong in my life. Everything keeps going wrong. I just can't seem to catch a break. Oh, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, this happens or that happens. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's the biggest curse we could play on ourselves.
We know a lot of people like that, right? Do we know people?
And we all go through it. We all go through it at various stages of our lives. But some people, it's become who they are.
Yes.
And the more they keep focusing on why their life isn't working, they don't realize that the more their life won't work. It's the law of attraction in action. It's the more you focus on your lack, the more of that you're going to get back. The more you focus on what isn't working, the more your life won't work. Yep. And people don't want to get that because they hit you with, yeah, but you don't understand, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it really is. So let's talk about and here's the other thing. I don't know about you, but I've been in the past, I've been guilty of trying to get those people to change. Trying to get those people to that's right. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's right.
Yep.
but trying to get those people to wake up and see the error of their ways. And that's a really good way to, number one, make an enemy, and number two, drive yourself insane.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. The thing is, though, I've learned is that you you can try as much as you can. You can try so many different methods to get a person to communicate what you're trying to say, but if they're not willing to change, they won't.
Right.
Some people they just, and you got to let it go. Because after I give my programs, I hear one of the biggest, if not the biggest question I ask. I have a husband that does this, and I have a wife, or my son. How do you live with someone who does nothing but complain? You live in the same house,
Yeah.
and how could I change them?
Right.
And it's a tough thing to answer. The only thing you could do is do it gradually and say to that person, perhaps, have you noticed, honey, that I'm basically in a good mood most of the time? Have you noticed that I'm confronted with challenges too, but I don't focus on what isn't working. I say to myself, what can I do to turn this around? Who can I go to that can help me? What needs to be done for me to get from here to here? I know I can do this. I know I'm going to be confronted with challenges throughout the course of my life. Everybody is, but I'm also smart enough to know it's not what happens to me. It's what I do about what happens. And I think that's the only way you could explain it. I mean, at least that should be the opening statement.
You know, I love what Lori says. People have to be willing and able. Some are willing but not able. Others are able and not willing. So, I agree with that. The problem, I think, and it goes back to, I think it was who said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Was that Buddha?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was
I
just talking to
think,
Buddha before. Yeah.
huh?
I was just talking to Buddha before. We were hanging
Right.
out. Yeah.
But I think that in order to affect change in other people, you have to focus on yourself
Yep.
first, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, the people that are constantly a drag, that are constantly pulling you down. Oh, Gandhi, it was Gandhi. It was Gandhi. Yeah. Um, the people that are constantly pulling you down and trying to keep you down at their level, you can't fix them, and you have to at some point you have to disconnect from that. Like, you can't be around it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah. You otherwise, at some point, it'll start bringing you down and you'll start getting annoyed.
Right.
But the other sad thing is that there are people that live with people like that their whole lives. And that's got to be a challenging thing. It's so simple in the methodology, but it's difficult to apply. As a matter of fact, in my book, in Conversations with Bob, that's one of the lessons in the entire book is when Bob says to Bernie, Bernie, I did answer your prayers, but you pray with the same woe is me attitude that you have about your life. You keep complaining about everything. I can plant the seed possibility for the prayer, but you have to have the right mindset and stop complaining about what isn't working. People should wake up in the morning knowing that there's a good chance that they're going to be confronted with a challenge.
Yes.
Almost every single day. And that there's something within them that can meet that challenge head on. And that's not saying, I know a lot of people that get hit hard with a lot of stuff. And sometimes life does hit you with one thing after another. I always say, if you're going to get upset, allow yourself to do it. Do it 30 seconds to a minute, curse, do whatever you want and say, okay, I let that out. But what some people do, Ken, is that, let's just say if somebody's car didn't start and it's a brand new car.
Yep.
They'll finally get to work and they'll tell everybody about it.
The water cooler.
Exactly. And they'll even say the same story the next day and the next day. Oh, yeah, well, let me tell you what happened to you. Brand new car. Do you believe it? Brand new car. And not what they're doing is that they're reliving the same situation over again in their head.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I've said this, because there's a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm sure you've heard of
Oh,
him.
it's great.
And he talks about that there's scientific evidence that 95% of the thoughts that we have, of the 60,000 plus thoughts we have on a daily basis, 90 or 95% are the same thoughts we had yesterday, and that 50% of those thoughts are lies. They're made up. We're embellishing. You stub your toe on the nightstand in the morning, middle of the afternoon, you feel a little twinge in that toe, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, I broke it. It's broken. Then you start telling everybody, I broke my toe. I broke my toe. I hit the damn nightstand this morning. I know it's broken, and you just embellish, and then you literally create pain that's not even there.
Yep. Unfortunately, what you're saying there, my mom was like that. My mom was a wonderful person, but she had a lot of ailments, and the ailments were mostly self-inflicted. When she would call me on the phone, I used to have to take a deep breath, and I love my mother. I'm not knocking her at all. This isn't even easy for me to say, but it's got to be said. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Is that when she would call and I knew it was her, I'd pick up the phone and I would just take a deep breath and say a little prayer, because I knew that what I was going to hear was nothing straight from the negative zone. And I think the worst question you could ask my mom is, how you doing, Mom? Oh, well, my neck hurts, or I'm getting a cold, or whatever it is. And you're just like, oh, this poor woman. Yeah. And there are people that, like I said, that live their whole life like that.
The problem is, and you tell me, because I'm going to come across as a cold-hearted whatever, but like, it's like, on this Wednesday, I saw, if I make it until Wednesday, I'll have 20 years of sobriety.
Wow.
And which is
Congratulations.
unbelievable. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. It's a miracle. I'm very, very grateful. Very, very grateful. But they say that once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. It's like once a cucumber becomes a pickle, it can never be a cucumber again. It's a freaking pickle now, right?
Right.
And I think about the people who are like that, and like you just described, and I notice it because now I'm awake. You're awake. I'm awake. I see it, and it drives me crazy, and I judge them in my mind. I do. I judge, and I think, man, I and not in a horrible fashion, but like just oh my God,
you categorize them.
Yes.
You're saying to yourself, oh, they're one of those.
Yes.
And it's not that you're really knocking them, but you're just going, oh, this is going to be challenging for me. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sorry, will you continue, Ken? I didn't know you were going to.
No, I just want to, how do you handle that? Because I can't take it. And Lisa says it right here. Once you're awake, it's hard to hear it. Sometimes it's not hard to hear it for me. It literally makes me physically ill. Like I get sick to my stomach listening to somebody play the victim card and be because I know they're bringing that crap on themselves. I know they are.
Yeah. No, I know. And a way for a person, for you people that are listening that fit in that category, we're not knocking you. We're trying to make you aware that there are alternatives.
I'm knocking you.
If your day's going bad and the next day's going bad, everything's going bad. All right, fine. But there is always something. We talked about this last week that you are grateful for. And you do have the ability to shift your focus and way of thinking. Slightly do it. And think of something else that will put a smile on your face. If you're having financial difficulties and you're having more financial difficulties, and it's obvious that you're having financial difficulties, if you keep focusing on those financial difficulties, on your lack, you are always going to have financial difficulties because you won't be able to see the opportunities that the universe or God or Bob is bestowing upon you.
Yep.
That saying I just said before, the more you focus on your lack, the more you're going to get back is very true, and it's hardcore. And I'll
Yep.
give you another example. Years ago, we were just talking about a car that didn't stop. I wrote an article, and this was in Success magazine. I called it "The Girl with the Radiant Smile." I was in San Diego, and I was right along on the beach in San Diego, and I saw this beautiful young woman sipping a Starbucks coffee. She was barefoot, and she looked like she could have been on like a commercial, and she had this smile on. I went up to her. I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "You have got an incredible smile." She goes, "Oh, nothing to say sorry about. Thank you. I appreciate that." She says, "What's not to smile about? I'm sipping a delicious coffee. There's a beautiful breeze. I live in San Diego." She goes, the weather is always perfect here. And I
And
said,
hold it. Did she also hold on? Let me ask you. Did she say, and I'm filming a commercial for Starbucks and you're in my shot? No.
no, but she did say she's on drugs. No, I'm only kidding. But I'm high as a kite, dude. No, try this, man. You're gonna feel really good. I'm telling you, man.
Oh
So,
my God.
so anyway, you crack me up. Um, so I said the key question was, I said, "Are you always like this?" She goes, "Well, yeah, for the most part, I am." I said, "Don't certain things upset you?" She goes, "They do, but I know well aware what happens to me when I let something annoying or negative situation take control of me." She goes, "As a matter of fact," she said, "I just have a brand new car." And she said, "And it wouldn't start." She goes, "A brand new car. This is my second day. I'm going into my garage and I go to start it and it won't start. And I have to go to work." So I said, "Well, what'd you do?" She said, "I was frustrated. But my neighbor next door noticed that something was wrong." And she said, "What is wrong?" And she said, "My car goes, I can't start it. I got to get to work." So my neighbor volunteered to take me to work, she said. And she goes on with the story. She said, "I've been living next to this woman for 8 years. We barely had a conversation. She drove me to work. We had an incredible conversation." I said, "And not only that, we made a date to go out and this weekend for lunch
Yep.
and communicate and have a good time." So she said, "You know what? I could still be focusing on my car right now, but I choose to focus on the new friend that I just made." And that's my point.
Yep.
There's always something else you can shift your focus to. Maybe it's your children. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it's your wife. Maybe it's your friend. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a particular goal that you achieved. It,
Yep.
it could be a lot. It could be a lot of things. If you think of the consequences of holding on to the crap that life throws at you, man, life is going to be crappy.
Look, this Bruce brings up Grant Cardone says his answer about getting rear-ended. If you went another way or left 10 minutes earlier, it doesn't happen. And that's right. So now I'm not saying that accidents don't happen. They don't. But if we start taking responsibility for everything in our lives and we start taking responsibility for every way we react to the things going on, then life becomes much more magical.
And that's what this show's about.
It
You
is.
need to know that's what show's about, letting you know that you truly are the creators of your success and happiness. You are the only problem that you will ever have. Somewhere within you, there's always a solution waiting to be discovered. And whenever you're confronted with a challenge, it's never a matter of managing the situation. It's always a matter of managing your mind.
Yep.
Can you manage your mind and the toxic beliefs and the emotions that are keeping you from finding a solution that's waiting to be discovered?
I have like I just hung up a little bit ago with Craig Duswalt. I get text messages and emails every day almost from Mark Victor Hansen, the number one best-selling author of all time. I I talk to you all the time. I call you 95% of the time. You send me to voicemail. I'm kidding. You answer 95% of my calls. But I mean, I think about all of my day, and all it takes is what you said a little bit ago, Steve. Is what it takes is when you can find the tiniest little inkling of something to be grateful for.
That's all it takes.
tiny little Jesus said, have faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed,
Yep.
and it will be sufficient enough to move a mountain.
Yep.
And that was obviously metaphorical. And he was saying, look, find the tiniest little, the smallest little thing, and put some faith into that.
Yeah.
Put some faith into what is possible instead of what is wrong.
Well, Jesus was the king of
Yes.
the power of your thoughts. He knew that your thoughts created your beliefs, and your beliefs were going to write the story of your life.
Yep.
And he that's what he really preached about. Really preached. Dan Altmaier. I love Dan. I love his sense of humor. He cracked me up because his dry humor is just
it's something interesting about Dan, and I'm sure you'll agree, is he's so smart that his humor is sometimes hard to track.
Sometimes.
No, he puts a lot of thought into it before he says it, right?
Yeah. But you love him so much, because I remember when I did a Jeffrey Gitomer thing in Charlotte about 2 months ago, and that's the first time I met Dan. And every time I saw him coming at me, I'm going, oh, geez, here comes another joke. And before he started even telling the joke, I'm laughing already. He goes, can you wait for the punchline? That's the way he is. And by the way, folks, a sense of humor is a great way to turn around the crap that life is throwing at you. So listen, look, sometimes.
I know. Hey, Nick Ogilvie is here. Nick, what's going on, brother? Can't wait to meet you and your wife in Orlando, October 4th, when you guys come and check in with us. That's going to be great. So he hasn't signed up yet, Steve.
Well, that's his problem.
I know.
I don't know what he's waiting for.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, you could literally turn your life around.
He's doing really, really well, actually.
Well, he could do really, really well.
I mean, right. So, I think that again, I saw a post, actually, I saw several posts by the same person the other day on Facebook, and it's one post after another of things going wrong. And there's a lot of people that use Facebook as a place to talk about how things are going wrong, and other social media. And I called you. Do you remember? I called you. I said, here's what I want to talk about on our show Sunday night. This is it. Yeah. And because I feel really, really, really bad for people that, and here's the thing, dude, they're programmed to do that.
Of course, they're not even aware that they're not become who they are. They're not even aware.
They're not.
And it's a shame too, because some people, they're wonderful people.
Yes.
But they get caught up in that negative zone, that syndrome.
Yep.
And then it just festers, and you can actually start seeing it in their faces, and it's like, man, you have so much, and a lot of them have so much going for them. They're really gifted people.
I think, it does go back to Marianne Williamson's poem about, it's really not, I think people are, they're aware. And just do me a favor, everybody watching, drop a 1 in the comments if what I'm about to say you feel resonates with you. You're aware that there's something greater for your life that you're not doing. Just drop a 1. It's there. You just, maybe you don't know exactly what that is yet. Drop a 1 if that resonates with you. There they are. There's some 1s. There they are. Are you seeing the comments?
Yeah, I'm looking at them now.
Yeah, there's some 1s. So that's what I'm talking about. Eric has to put Eric. I love Eric, man.
You gotta love him.
Oh, he's awesome, man.
Yep.
So Dan put Juan. but so it's out. I think that it's our power that we're scared of. So what do? We get into that mindset of I'm just going to keep telling these negative stories about what's going on so I don't ever have to fully tap into that, because if I tap into that, oh my God, that's a power I'm not used to trying to tap into, that greatness that God actually created me for.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. And so I what I am used to is my mother always found things wrong with everything, or my father always found things wrong. And so I'm just going to stay in that comfortable zone of finding everything possible wrong in my life and in the mirror with me and the way I look and the way with everything, because it's way easier to stay stuck in that negative zone that I was brought up with and programmed to be than
Yeah.
to actually say, screw all that crap and tap into the greatness that God actually intended for me, or
Yep,
Bob.
yep. That was so well said. That's so well said. And that's what I went through most of my life. And I
Right.
finally, at a late age of my life, that's why it took me 7 years to write this book. I actually can admit to everyone right now that I know what it's like to go out of my mind. I went out of my mind. I did it 3 times in my life. And the last time was, as Gittima say, who died and made you
Right.
Lord of the world. Exactly. Yeah. So, but I know what I did. And when I realized what I was doing to myself, I realized that I did have a gift and I was really talented. And it was the being voted least likely to succeed and being told by a guidance counselor that I wasn't smart enough to go to college, and listening to my parents arguing that we're never going to have enough money and thinking that life is always going to be a challenge. So, how could I allow this power that was within me to express itself when I was smothered by everything around me?
Yep.
And that also would mean that there would be a major change in my life when I was actually comfortable in the negative crap that I was living in. It's just amazing what we do to ourselves.
Nick says, agree. That's what I say when people say I have a generational curse. I can't be this or that. That's crap. I totally agree.
Look, Ken, we are here on this planet to experience, to learn, and to grow and to become the best person that we can be. Now, what I mean by that is how you experience all of the things that happen to you in your life, all of the things that you label as good or bad, right, wrong, fair or unfair, will determine what you learn. That continued learning leads to your growth, and that continued growth always paves the way to who and what you become. Our job is to become the best person that we can possibly be.
Yep.
And yeah, and you do that by honoring the parts of you that elevate you to this level, not the parts of you that bring you down way below where you can't even think anymore.
You know, um, there's a story that Dr. Wayne Dyer, I know Cynthia, she's awesome. Dr. Dyer wrote, and I don't know if it was in There's a Spiritual Solution to Everything, which book it was, but he tells a story about the power of our minds, and he had a saying, change your thoughts, change your life. When you
Yep.
change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So he told a story of a guy that worked in the railroad yards, and one night, on a Friday night, he realized he left a tool in one of the refrigerator cars. He ran in to get it before clocking out to go home, and he reaches down to get it, and he hears the refrigerator door close behind him and realizes there's no way out of this car, and he's going to be trapped in this freezing car for the entire weekend because everybody else is gone for the night or the weekend. And he realized quickly that he was cold, getting colder. He wasn't dressed to be in there. And the Monday morning, they found him slumped over dead, holding a piece of cardboard in this box car, and he had scratched with something, getting cold, getting colder, and he died. And so after they did some research, they found that that refrigerated car actually was not even turned on. It was in for repairs. The temperature was like 57 degrees, which
So-
would be chilly, but not enough to kill you. And he did it with his freaking mind.
Wow.
That's powerful, man. I'll never, ever, ever forget that story, because I think about like how many things have I screwed up in my life because I allowed all the BS excuses and stories and crap to generate more crap.
Well,
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. You're speechless. Oh, it's Jerry Eisenhower. Daggone. I wish they would show his name and picture. That's crazy. I don't know why they keep doing that. Clarity often takes many years to obtain, and where one takes off in life on a new pursuit for which we were intended to pursue, usually it takes significant pain. It does. I say that pain is the predecessor of all wisdom, the law of crap. Anything is possible are 3 words I saw every day, all day. I'll never stop. Giovanni Livera? Who is that?
Anything is possible. Wow. That's
Is
way
you got something on your phone that stopped you in your tracks. Everything okay?
Yeah. You talk about what we're talking about. We suspended your Amazon account due to unusual activity.
Don't click on that. That's spam. Don't.
Is it?
Yes, that's spam.
Yeah.
Don't click
Wow.
on that.
A lot of people are getting that on Facebook and everything.
I get that. I get that same message 2 or 3 times a day.
Wow.
Every day.
I'm glad you told me that. Thanks.
Delete it. Don't even don't click on that. That's yeah, it's spam, and it'll.
What are they trying to do to me now?
Right. The law of spam.
That's
Yes.
pretty funny. The law of spam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I as we're talking about what we're talking about here is so important, because there are so many people. They take that mood with them to their children's birthday, to an anniversary,
Yep.
to a party, to everything.
Yep.
To everything. And they actually walk around with an existence saying, my life isn't working. It was always like that. And I can prove it to you. That's what really gets them, is when they can look you right in the face and tell you this isn't working, that isn't working. And I never get a break, and my prayers aren't answered. And it's not realizing, man, the law of attraction, it doesn't show favorites. It just responds to the way you live your life.
And I think that there's a lot of people that they consider this whole idea of law of attraction, and they consider it new agey, and they consider it something that is not of God, and that it's, and to them I go, you know what? You're right.
But Jesus talked about it, may not have used those words. Buddha talked about it. They all the great spiritual minds, all philosophers of all time, you create your own reality.
I get that. I totally get that. But there are people stuck.
I know.
And what would Jerry Seinfeld say?
Well, I don't know what's wrong with you people. You got everything going for you. What's wrong with you? I'm trying to tell you something. You're not listening. You're crazy. You're crazy.
That's so funny.
Before, this is serious. See, but God, I love you. Jerry, look, Jerry Eisenhower said change is painful, and that's part of the problem. Do you know, Ken, there are people, women that stay, and men, stay in painful relationships because the fear of changing is more powerful than the abuse that they're getting at home. The fear of living a better life. Well, that means I have to do things. I have to change this. And they stay stuck.
Yeah. It's again, this is not a judgment. I've been
No,
there. I've been there. I've been there. It's not a judgment.
no,
It's
it's
not.
not. It's not.
It's scary to step into the unknown. It's scary as hell to step into the unknown, to step into your power. But there is something that when, the book Power versus Force, which is an incredible book, he this is going to be a horrible summary of it, but he says basically, that everything that we try to force in life automatically creates resistance universally, right?
Yeah.
That real power comes from surrender. From surrender. And when we say, look, I don't know, I don't have the answers to this, whatever this thing is that's got you messed up. I don't know why I keep attracting bad stuff into my life. I don't know why I trip and fall, or I don't know why I have this ailment or that. I don't know why, and da 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 da. How about just instead of talking about it, flowing more power to it, just surrender. Just surrender.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? I don't know why, but God does. And God put me here with a greater purpose, a much, much, much greater purpose than to sit around and complain and whine.
And your job and responsibility is to find that purpose, regardless of what it is, regardless of what it is. And it's not as difficult. Like I said, in theory, it's easy, but applying it can be very difficult for a lot of people because they have created a toxic belief system. And we've talked about this. Your subconscious runs 97% of your life. It is the genie of your soul. Yep. And whatever the more you keep saying your life isn't working, the genie of your soul is saying, yes, you're right. It isn't working. It isn't working. And by the way, you're going to be creating more stuff that's not going to work instead of tapping into the part of you that can make you look at things from a different perspective, a little bit of a time, just a little bit. And that's what I try to do with people if I'm counseling someone. They're going on this rampage, and I try to make them aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I go, she go, how do you feel right now? I have this knot in my stomach and my head feels, yes, but don't you see you're doing that? No, I'm not doing it. It's the situations that are doing it. The situation happened years ago, and you're still holding on to it. It was Wayne Dyer that said the past does not equal the present.
Right.
And what you think in the present will reflect your future. We are the creators of our success and happiness.
Yep. It's true.
It's amazing. And it's sad. And it's very sad. It's very sad. And I just know way too many people, as you know, you do. That's why you wanted to have this topic, who can have the world in the palm of their hands. And that's what I said with the Rodney Dangerfield story. Remember the end of the story? Here's a man that had the world in the palm of his hands.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized sometimes holding the world in the palm of your hands isn't what's important. What's important are the choices you make as you're holding it. It's what you believe in yourself and how you believe in the life that's around you and your world that is within you.
I may have brought this up before. I interviewed Grant Cardone right after the day after he finished filming Undercover Billionaire. I had him on a live stream one night, and I'm so freaking grateful that I was given that opportunity. And we talked about 30 minutes on that evening, and I said something to him, and I fully expected he would say, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I said, Grant, I mean, there's people who are maybe in their 50s, 60s, 70s, watching right now, and they haven't figured it out yet. And they're struggling. They're trying to figure it out. I said, it's never too late, right? And here's what he said that changed my life in that moment. And this just 2 years ago. He said, I don't know. It might be.
Yeah.
It might be too late.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? No, that's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to encourage everybody. What the hell are you talking about, Grant? It might not be. And he's like, it might be too late. I don't know. It might be for some people. That's why you got to live every day freaking full force. Quit making up all the BS excuses and everything else that you use to clutter your mind. You don't know.
It could be too late if you continue doing it.
That's right.
Like I say to people at the end of one of my programs, and I said it at the end of the Live Like a Rock Star seminar that I did. And I told everyone, I said, my goal in my life, and so is yours, is to allow people aware that they can start taking control of their lives instead of letting life control them.
Yep.
And the one thing I said is, I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are. You can start turning your life. You could be in your 80s and make a promise to yourself that you're going to start your life around. And as someone said in one of my workshops once, well, you know how old I'll be once I finally get it all together? And my answer was, yeah, the same age you'll be if you don't do it.
Right.
You can do it though.
Honestly, here's the rub on that is actually, if you are focused on turning something around, making yourself better, you have a goal, you have a purpose, you're moving towards that, there's a good chance you're going to live longer than if you don't. Because if you don't have a purpose, you're not working on getting better, you're still a negative Nelly or a terrible Ted. Wow, I just came up with those like that just.
It's brilliant. That's brilliant. I might even cry.
But like you're going, it's like the guy in the train car. He willed himself to death.
Yeah, you know what? That's an amazing story. That's a pretty amazing story. That's whoa. If that's how powerful the mind is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
That may be Grant's point. That's a principle in scripture. If one continues in that way, it could be unchangeable. Yeah. It could be unchangeable unless you're aware of what you're doing to yourself. See, I'm an optimist when it comes to that. As soon as you become aware, awareness is the key that sets you free. As soon as you become aware of what you've done to yourself, and you just go, whoa, I get it. There was a point when that happened to me. I just got it, and it was as I was writing this book.
Yep.
I thought, oh yeah, okay, I get it now, and it just clicks, and you're saying, I got to work on myself now.
Yeah.
And every time I would challenge myself, let's see if you can go through the day without thinking a negative thought. And if you do, you have to start all over again.
That's so.
And man, I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
I think personally, I think that's impossible. I do.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think right. but it's one heck of an exercise.
Yeah.
Albeit futile, it's one heck of an exercise because again, what you focus on grows and expands in your life, right?
Absolutely.
And so when you can learn to start focusing on the positive things, because everybody, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you've been through, I don't care what you're going through, I don't care what direction you're heading or where you've been, which way is up, which way is down for you, does not matter. Everybody on this planet has something that they can be grateful for. Something is there. Something.
Yep.
Just got to find it. It may take a lot of digging.
Absolutely.
But you got to find it.
Absolutely. Once you do, and you really feel it, you will find something else.
Yep.
And then you're going to find something else.
Yep.
And what happens then, if you're fortunate enough, you can create this mindset where when you are confronted with another major challenge, rather than focusing on what isn't working, you might say to yourself, all right, this is really bringing me down. How did this happen? What can I do to turn it around? Who can I go to that can help me to do this? There are so many power questions you could ask yourself to get back on track again. And this is what separates those who succeed from those who consistently fail. Because even in the book, Bob says to Bernie, he goes, Successful, positive people have negative thoughts all the time. And Bernie goes, they do? And he said, yeah, they just don't allow those thoughts to become a part of who they are. They're very aware of what will happen to them if they do.
Yep.
So most of their thoughts, they're 90%, 85% are positive, which really knock the crap out of any negative thought that wants to come in and try and invade their way of thinking or their life.
Yep.
It's like it's almost like the devil and an angel right on your shoulders here. You know, it's like that your subconscious is saying, remember what happened to you in the past, and this is your life, and this is what happened. You got screwed. And the other ones, this other part's going, there's something within you that could meet this. You can turn your life around. But most people go to the other side because it's so loud. It's so powerful and it's so real to them.
Yep.
The other voice, the silent voice, is very quiet. It's me, but it's incredibly powerful if you unleash it and allow yourself to adhere to it instead of the other one.
You know, I think about people, I mean, everyday people. It doesn't have to be anyone that's done anything exceptional like our friend Debbie. She's extraordinarily exceptional. But
Yes,
you know, huh?
Yes, she is.
She's absolutely a rock star. She's amazing.
Yep.
And if you're not following her, shame on you. Follow her right now. But I'm kidding. Like, I'm not trying to shame you. But the, you know, I look at people and I think, man, you know, you have everybody, most people have some form of the hero's journey where you had to face something difficult and you battled your way through it and you came out on top and you were victorious. And you know, a lot of people don't really celebrate that and really work on creating more of those overcomes and
Yep.
and you know, explosive things going on in life. And that's sad to me, man, because I think that everybody has that. Everybody has that thing that they can tap into.
Oh yeah, they do. That thing that can combat the monsters that attack us every day, and that's what the hero's journey is all about. I'm going through that part of the journey now with a lot of different things, but man, I'm welcoming it. Every step is a step of empowerment. Every step is in the direction. Somebody asked me a while ago, where are you going? I said, I really don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know I'm on my way. I am on my way with energy and optimism, and I'm just going one step at a time.
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling. And it's even a greater feeling when you live most of your life the complete opposite. That's what empowerment is all about. It's taking the crap that life threw at you and turning it into methane and catapulting yourself with an incredible amount of positive energy, moving in the direction that you're supposed to be going in. And it has nothing to do with money, although money comes along with it. It always does. If you choose it to be, if you choose it, it just has to do with following your path, your heart, in spite of all this crap that life threw at you and maybe still is.
Just don't let any of the environmentalists know that you've turned it into methane.
Yeah, never let those guys know, because we don't like them.
They will not like that.
No.
Yeah. So, you know, look, if you are in a, you know, if you're in a place where, go look at your Facebook feed, all of your posts, and if they're filled with problems that you've experienced, challenges that you've experienced, they're filled with negativity, and you're just spreading it around for people to say, oh, I'm so sorry, oh, this and that. I'm not saying that like look, when I was you know, really sick back about a year ago, I got scared, and I posted a couple of things like, wow, this C-19 thing is not a joke. Like, it got a hold of me. And but I still stayed pretty positive. And Glenn Morshower and I actually did a live stream from, I was in my hospital room.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, we did the Ken and Glenn show one night. Yeah, from the hospital room. It was crazy.
Wow. Wow.
But I think that you've got to look at your, if you want a better life. If you don't and you're happy being miserable, then stay there. That's cool. Just don't it's like on the what's the movie, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, when 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 he says, don't you put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby. Like, don't spew your negativity onto me and other people.
Yeah.
Like, keep it to yourself. If you want to be miserable, you want to continue attracting bad stuff into your life, bring it on to yourself. Just don't bring it on to me or other people. Keep it to yourself.
That's
But
what,
like they say, misery loves company.
yep. Yeah.
You know.
I always say the biggest inspiration in my life is my brother Michael, and I just
Yeah.
watch him. One day we'll do a show, and I'll talk about his whole ordeal. It's just amazing what he went through in the hospital for 7 months, and 21 feet of his small intestine were blown out or taken out on the battlefield, on the operating table, and just amazing stuff. And he just turned his life around because he kept focusing on the fact what was working rather than fixating on what isn't working.
Right.
Right. So he only had a foot of small intestine. And one, as a matter of fact, I'll just tell this one little story. There was
tell it. I'm going to give you full screen. Tell it.
all right, I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to tell this part.
Yeah.
He's in St. Albans Naval Hospital in Queens, New York. And like I said, he was in a hospital for 7 months, and doctors gave him strict orders. They kept reminding him, you can't eat this, and you can't eat anything of substance. All you could eat is ground up food and liquids. And they didn't even think he was going to live that long. And they told him that. They told the whole family that. But my brother Rocky and I, every time we went to visit him, we would give my brother meatball heroes and slices of pizza, okay, while the doctors weren't there. So one day, three doctors walked in, and they're looking at my brother eating this meatball hero, all right? And they looked at him, and they just looked at him and said, I can't believe you're doing this. We're trying to help you. You're not listening to us. You're making a bad situation worse than what it has to be. We told you no solid foods. No solid foods. You have 1 foot of small intestine. How many times are we going to remind you? So my brother takes the meatball hero. He hurls it and hits one of the doctors square in the chest. Tomato sauce goes all over the guy's face. And my brother looked at all three, and you could have heard a pin drop after he said this. He said, you know what your problem is? You guys keep reminding me that 21 feet of my intestine were taken out or blown out on the battlefield. And I'm trying to focus on the 1 foot that I have left. He said, get the hell out of my room, because we're doing it my way from now on.
Wow.
So they left. A couple of days later, I'm sitting next to my brother. One of the doctors comes back in. He sits on the head of the bed, and he taps my brother on the leg, and he goes, I thought about what you were saying. He goes, and I think you might have something there. We're going to do it your way from now on. And they allowed him to do what they said he couldn't do, but he knew inside he had to make a gallant try to do it. Wow. And as a result, every step along the way was another notch on his victory belt until he finally got out, and it became an incredibly success story. He did more than survive. He thrived. He thrived. And he hated listening to the people that you were saying that kept complaining. One time, the people that he was surrounded with weren't going through half the stuff that he was going through. And he took a bedpan once, and he threw it at the guy. It was full, too. And he threw it at the guy that was in the bed next to him, saying, shut up. Shut up.
Dude, what you're saying is so powerful. Eddie Alonso says, powerful story, Rizzo. It is a powerful story. I should I bring this up?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up. Why not? I go through I went my parents live about an hour or so away from us. We were up there last night, yesterday, and um I'm vegan, so I and it's not because I've said many times I love steak. It's for health reasons. It's not because I'm trying to not kill cows. I would choke a cow to death to get a steak out of it with my bare hands, mind you. So it's not that's not the reason. It's for health reasons. But so I Burger King has this thing called the Impossible Whopper. It's really a great alternative, and if you're on the go and in a hurry, and so we go through this Burger King. I get to the window. I'm in Ohio, which is a pretty, and I'm in a really conservative part of Ohio. And I get to the window, and this woman, this girl, young girl, is wearing a mask. And I go, "Are they requiring you to wear masks again?" And she goes, "No, it's just really on the uptick here in this county, and I'm scared." And I'm like, and I'm not, this is not a judgment. Okay. If she wants to wear the mask, that's fine. It caught me off guard completely
Yeah.
because we just
Yep.
don't see it here anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's unbelievable. Like, where is she getting? Because I've not heard anything like that. Nothing, 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 nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, is there something I need to be scared of that I haven't heard about? But
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Is the fear that can control your life. It can control everything in your life.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not judging anybody that's wear the mask. I don't care, but like I think, and Eva says it here, fear equals control. And I pulled away from that, and my wife's like, "Oh my gosh, I like, wow, where do you suppose she's hearing that?" I said, "I don't know. I don't watch the news, so I don't know.
You
I
just
don't
sounded
know.
like Seinfeld. I don't know.
I don't
What's wrong
know."
with you?
Anyway,
No,
so
yeah, no, I get that, and you're right. And it's that fear thing, and they take it with them everywhere they go.
everywhere, man, everywhere. Fear can be paralyzing. It can be absolutely paralyzing.
And it could also be a motivator.
It can also motivate.
It depends, like
Right.
I think my brother, he looked at where his life was going, and he said, "No, I'm still alive. I'm not ready to leave this planet." And I think in
Yeah.
part it was that fear that gave him that alternative to focus on what was working rather than fixating what isn't working. And I
Yeah.
swear, even when he got up to go to the bathroom by himself, he was like celebrating.
Yeah.
It was that one little shift, and then he started eating all kinds of different foods, and he went to college, and when he got out, it was 94 pounds, and we didn't think he'd be able to do it. We really didn't, because we thought it would be demoralizing for him and it would just make him worse. He graduated with honors. He went back to the same school that he graduated from, became a history teacher, then an attendance officer, then assistant principal, then principal. And when he wanted to retire, they wouldn't let him. They made him superintendent of the entire school system.
Wow.
And it's just an amazing story. And he's the main reason why I do what I do today.
Wow.
Because those common sense success strategies that are in this book are the strategies that he used to turn his life around. And he didn't even realize it. That's the ironic thing. He didn't know he was using strategies, but I studied him.
Yeah.
I studied what made him survive, what made him just overcome what doctors said were impossible. How was he able to do that? How was not only he went whitewater rafting a year or year and a half, maybe 2 years after this ordeal.
Wow.
We all know, I'm talking about the heavy whitewater rafting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Class 5. He went, and he was the craziest one out of all of us.
Wow.
And that sticks with me, and that's why I spend a lot of time with him now. Right now, he's on kidney dialysis for the rest of his life, and he's still, he's got that oomph in him just to keep going. It's amazing.
It's the whole thing of, you will either find an excuse or you will find a way. Period. It literally is. I don't care what anybody says. It is mind over matter. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is. What we think is what creates our emotions, that creates our actions, it creates our habits, it creates our everything that we're doing.
I know.
And we people just so many people are not aware of it, man. They're awake, they're asleep at the wheel, and wonder why they keep crashing.
I know. And it has nothing to do with talent. There's a lot of talent out there, man. There's a lot of talent out there that will never get to the place where I think they should go.
Yeah.
Uh, Not it's, but that's not important. It's what's important is where they think they should go and where they want to go. That's why there are people sometimes, Ken, you know this, that sit with psychologists for years, more than half their life. And there's got to be a point where you can say, hey, I can do this maybe. And I may be pushing it by what I just said. There may be some people right now going, oh, wait, that's pushing a little too much. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that if anybody's watching and you find yourself in um a position where things don't always necessarily go well for you in life, um take a look and just see if there's a pattern of, and because that pattern, I promise you, is originating right there in between your ears, and it's generating emotions. And here's the craziest part, dude. Like I said, on Wednesday, I always say if I make it, because that's just a one day at a time thing, but
Right.
I'll make it. But on this coming Wednesday, I celebrate 20 years of sobriety. I'm a recovered alcoholic. My natural tendency before recovering, my natural state was to be in a blackout drunk, like blacked out. When I first got sober, for the first 5 years, I mean, I had spent more than 20 years, or right about 20 years, drunk, like
Wow.
drunk every day. And then I get sober and I'm like, oh, they said that sober is an acronym. The word sober is an acronym for son of a bitch, everything's real. And like, so I didn't have the alcohol to anesthetize, that word, and numb my emotions. I had to feel everything. And so it was such an uncomfortable feeling to not be drunk, to not be in this alternate universe that I had created, to not, it was so unusual, just a weird sense. Just like for normal people, it's a weird sense to be in a blackout, to drink
Yep.
until you don't know your name or what planet you're on.
Yep.
Normal people can't relate to that. That's how I lived for many, many years. So when I first made the shift, dude, it was hard, man. Not only was it hard, so many of my brain cells had been numb for so long that it took a long time to wake them up. And so when you're going through this thing where you go, let me take a look at my life and see if there's a pattern of negativity. Let me take a peek at it and see if there are things that I'm setting myself up for the fall, so to speak. Um, it's going to be uncomfortable at first, really uncomfortable. But don't let that stop you from looking. Don't let that stop you from having that shift. Don't let it stop you. You may want to revert back. I'll call it a relapse. You may want to relapse back into your negative self, and maybe you even do for a day or two or an hour or a week or what. That's okay. It's part of the growth process. Just get
Good
back
point.
up on your horse.
Good point. That's a great point.
Right?
Yes, yes, because a lot of people that we're talking right now, and if let's say we were giving a workshop, and it was a continued thing. And then someone would say, I was doing so well, and then I got into that zone again, and I ruined everything. But that's okay. That's part of the process.
Yes.
That is part. You're aware that you screwed up. Get right back. Don't hold on to it anymore. Let it go. And it'll happen again, and maybe again. I still screw up. I still get in that zone. You do. We all do. It's a part of being human.
Yep.
Most people believe, a lot of psychologists believe, that it's part of the human condition to have a negative bias about things, and it takes work to shift that around. Yeah. So be easy on yourself, and know that you're going to have those moments, and just let it go, and then keep going in the direction that you want to go.
That's it, man. That's it. Totally agree.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think this has been a great talk tonight. I hope that everybody watching got something out of this tonight. And you and I've kind of talked about that, when we're able to be here, we'll be here. We're not going to be able to be here every Sunday, including next Sunday. I will not be able to be here.
Why?
Why? I'm going to be in Dallas.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Good for you.
I'll explain that to you afterwards. But
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be around. So we will not be able to do the show next week. I'm so sorry. But unless, Steve, you can go live and talk to everybody.
I can do that.
Because you're brilliant. I
like talking.
Yes. So everybody make sure that if you have not picked up a copy of this book, Conversations with Bob, by the one and only Steve Rizzo, then you probably never will, and you should buy my book instead.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? And by the way, it's funny. Thank you so much for your incredible review on Amazon too. That was
yeah.
That was really, really nice, because I know I was getting on your case for not reading the whole book, and all of a sudden you did.
I did.
Do it live with Bullwinkle. Yeah, I'm going to do a conversation. Hey, welcome all you people out there in podcast land. This is your old pal Bullwinkle, and we're going to do Conversations with Bob with just Steve Rizzo. Where's Ken? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. No, but we love him so much.
Oh my God, that is so funny. So, so listen, I'm serious. Go get a copy of Conversations with Bob and read it. It's an incredibly powerful book. Steve knocked it out of the park. So such a good book, dude. Such a good book. So everybody go get a copy of it. Steve, that's a wrap, dude. You ready?
I'm ready, man. It was a good show. It was a great show. And we'll see you guys in a couple of Sundays from now. I'm not going to do the show by myself. I wouldn't do it without you. This is our show. So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
No problem. And thank you, folks. Please share this with everyone that you know. And our goal is just to be a spark that can ignite change in people's lives. That's what we do.
That's it. That's how we roll. So until next time, Steve Rizzo,
Ken Walls, and
Bob. Bob, thank you for always being here with us and for us. You guys have a great upcoming week, and we will see you real soon. Stay with me, Steve.
Okay.
See you guys.
Okay.